Coming up on LiveWire, we've got a great show for you today. We're going to talk about some events that are coming up that you can actually go for, and you can actually bring your children to them and enjoy yourself because they are about a wonderful set of cultural attributes at our city, which is this polyglot city of people coming from the world here. And so stay tuned for LiveWire right after this. If you've never been to Locke, California, you're missing something. And with me in the studio, who is a board member of the Locke Foundation, is Honey Lum. And she's going to talk about an upcoming event that they do every year. And it's really very, very special. It's special in the United States, actually, maybe even in the world. So I will let her explain that. How are you?
Very good. Thank you for inviting me to talk about the Locke Chinese New Year celebration, which happens on Saturday, February 11th, from 12 to 4. The town of Locke is very unique. It was founded in 1915 by a group of Chinese when a neighboring town, Walnut Grove, burned. Some folks from Zhongshan province actually started leasing land from George Locke to started to grow the community. So in its heyday, over 600 people live in Locke. Now we only have about 80 residents, and of those 80 residents, 7 are Chinese. And in 1970, the U.S. government designated Locke as a National Historic Place. In 1990, early 90s, it was considered a National Historical Landmark. The only town founded by the Chinese still remaining today. It is a Chinese community. And so the Locke Foundation was founded in 2003, and our purpose is to provide education and preserve the Chinese culture of the town of Locke.
Yeah, I mean, the buildings themselves are outstanding in terms of the quality of a kind of Western town. I mean, you can look at it and think, wow, this still stands. Is somebody built it? But it's the real thing.
Well, in the early days, because of the Alien Land Acts, Chinese could not own property, so they leased the land, and so the Chinese didn't plan to stay long term. They planned, when they immigrated to the U.S., they planned to earn enough money and then go back to their homeland. But instead, because of the internal turmoils and wars, and many of the immigrants that came over to work in the early 1800s, mid-1800s, to help with building, as contract laborers, they helped with building the Sacramento levee area.
Yes.
They also helped with dredging the land so that land was usable for growing crops.
Yes.
From the early 1880s to the early 1900s.
Thousands of acres.
Thousands of acres.
Thousands of acres were unusable.
Over 10,000 acres.
When they brought those skills from China, when I was reading, they brought those skills of being able to drain lands that were underwater and make farms out of them.
And they were actually able to design a Thule horseshoe that was able to pull and dredge the soil to condition the soil.
Fascinating. And I was just going to say, maybe we should talk about what's going to happen on February 11th from noon to 4 p.m.
Yes, we are very excited that the Locke Foundation is pleased to present our two co-chairs, Clarence Chu and also Anita Lowe. We're presenting the Locke Lunar New Year. So if you could see the poster.
They can see the poster because it's up on there, a picture of it.
It starts from noon to 4 p.m. on Main Street, Locke. And so we are featuring at 12 noon an opening ceremony with our sponsors, FMM Bank, Chinese American Council of Sacramento, the Chevron Company. Some of these companies are giving scholarship opportunities to the local resident high school students who are from the Delta area. But the schedule of events is quite exciting. From about 12:30, we have the Eastern Ways line dancers, and they're so popular in this area. We invite them every year. They are a huge team of multi-ethnic performers, and they come to excite the community. They actually go to each of the business fronts to bring dance and bring luck to the businesses, and the community really loves them, and the audience is just ecstatic when the lions are in performance. And later you have a videotape to show some of the...
We do have a videotape, and we'll show it sometime soon.
In addition, at 1:30, we will have flower arrangement demonstration. We also, for the children, we have from elementary school to high schoolers, we have a painting and a calligraphy contest in the Joseung School. So these are some of the museums that are in the town of Locke, and Joseung School is owned and operated by Clarence Chu, who was our vice chair.
Show the video, and you can narrate that. I think
Okay.
there you go. Here we go.
This is a video. So those are the Eastern Way line dancers on Main Street in front of the schoolhouse on Main Street. Usually they bring about 9 lions for us. It's very exciting to have 9 lions. A crowd pleaser.
Very cool. Those are the lions.
From Eastern Ways.
I hate to be the back end. Fantastic.
But traditionally, when the lions do dance, they're fed lettuce, and they're also given red money envelopes. And this is as a way to thank the lions, and also lettuce as prosperity, as well as red envelopes for prosperity to bring good luck. Inside, we have a scene of the Locke Boarding House Museum.
That's
and
a
folks,
museum there.
That is our museum that's owned by California State Parks, our Locke Foundation. We have the docents that take care of the museum. And so folks that go there, the first 100 visitors will get lucky money. So you see the lucky money that's right there on the table. And that's the artist Joy Ko. She lives in town, has an art gallery there, and she's actually creating bookmarkers.
Ooh, yes.
Main Street Locke is a scene there. So not too far away from Sacramento. It's only 30 miles along I-5, Twin City roads, and it's an easy drive from Sacramento to the historic town of Locke. So I encourage all of you to come and visit. We have a lot of exciting programs to share with the community.
And I understand it's free.
It is a free event and free parking. And a lot of excitement. Included, we have invited a chef, David Suhu.
Yes.
Chef David Suhu is one of the first Chinese restaurateurs in the Sacramento area. He won, he was recognized by the Beard House for his cooking style, and so we honor him. He's well known, and he is going to be talking about the history of the unknown cooks in America. So he said from the time of the U.S. ship called the Empress of China to the modern day Asian celebrity cooks. So he's going to bring some history on the cooking lecture for us. Included would be the Chinese musical performances. So in the Locke Boarding House Museum, we've invited 3 musicians to come to play classical Chinese instruments.
Ooh, that's good.
So they will be playing at the Boarding House Museum from
Are there some
1:30.
musicians up there? See them?
Those are dancers at our Asian Pacific Spring Festival, but the instrument is classical.
I see. What are those instruments called? Do you know?
That's a iru.
Ew. Okay.
And here is Carol Lee, taking care of our marketing and outreach booth. We were at the Golden Harvest Parade and Festival in front of the California Railroad Museum area this past October.
She's holding up a book there. Uh-huh.
And right here is a night scene of Main Street Lock. So come visit it. It's really
Look at that.
historic. It's under historical preservation standards. We can't just tear down any of the buildings and construct something new. It has to be under preservation standards. So that's an image by Joe Chan.
Fantastic. I really liked it very much. And so people can come there, and it's free parking, free admission, and it's exciting to see there. And if people want more information, they can get on your website, which is the
Lock-Foundation.org. So there's all the information about the Lock Foundation, the town of Lock, and also showcases the different museums. On Main Street, there are 3 major museums that are privately owned that have been open to our community, which is the Josung Schoolhouse, the Dailoy Gambling House, and also the Jangyi Museum, which is a social organization. But the Dailoy Museum is so unique in a sense, when you open the door, you're back in time as if nothing had ever changed in that place.
And if you get real involved, you're involved in living history like I am, or have been almost all of my life. You know, a good magazine, like you could join the foundation, right?
Right. Folks can join the foundation. If they join the foundation, they're given a quarterly newsletter, and we also provide a walking tour to members who join us, and also a centennial pin. What's known, this past August, unfortunately, we missed James Motlow.
Oh,
and
yes.
he was actually the author, photographer who wrote the book called Bitter Melon. So he actually showcased a lot of the families and the history about the Delta area. And he helped us out in a sense that he did a lot of the docent tours for us. Very popular among the students.
And so if you're interested in the history, there are a number of books for sale, including his book.
Including the Bitter Melon, yes, $1 one day, and other books in
$1 one day, that's a reference to, that's how much
Yes.
you're going to get paid to work for 10 hours.
That's right. And that book was written by Peter Leung.
Yeah, this is excellent. Excellent. So how many years have you been doing this event?
We are in our 8th year, so
Yeah.
and growing. We missed about 2 years during the COVID time.
Oh, yeah.
But those first 100 folks that come to our festival and go to our boarding house museum will get a leasing. This is a red money envelope. So
That's good. That's lucky money.
lucky money. So come and enjoy that. And then the students who come to the Josung Schoolhouse from 1 to 3, they can enter part of the painting and calligraphy contest.
Honey Lum, thank you for coming to speak with me on this event coming up at the Locke Foundations in Locke, California.
Thank you so much for inviting me. Hope to see you there.
You will see me there. Okay, we're going to take a short pause for the cause, and we'll be back in just a few minutes to talk about St. Hope and its programming.
I don't remember how it started.
Go to that.
Our back and forth. It always came back.
Dad!
You probably don't remember what you told me,
That was perfect.
but I heard every word.
Okay, Dad. 1, 2, 3. You saved me. Dad?
Are you okay?
I'm fine, dear.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving.
Do you want to meet a family with a transgender kid? Here we are.
Max loves to do backflips. Max loves to play his ukulele. Max loves to just be a kid and just be himself. When I found out I was pregnant, all I really wanted was a happy, healthy, whole child. And that's what I got. I think it's really important for people to know that trans kids don't have a political agenda. They are just kids. Like any parent, we love our kids unconditionally, and we will never stop fighting for them. Stand with us. Protect our families.
For those dealing with the daily struggles of caring for a loved one, we hear you. That's why AARP created a community with experts and other caregivers to help us better care for ourselves and the ones we love.
We're back with LiveWire, and I'm Ray Tatter, and with me in the studio is Cassandra Jennings, who is the CEO of St. Hope.
Yes, thank
St.
you.
Hope has been around for a while.
Yes.
Tell me about it.
We're actually in our 34th year.
Yeah.
It was founded by Kevin Johnson, who grew up in the Oak Park neighborhood, and he did well. He went on to Berkeley and then became an NBA, I would say, superstar, and then thought that wasn't enough. He came back to his community where he could have stayed in Phoenix and other places to do better and became the mayor of Sacramento.
Yeah.
St. Hope, the mission is really to revitalize Oak Park through education and community economic development, including the arts and culture. So 34 years later, we find ourselves still doing that to uplift the community, people in it, the physical structure, the businesses, to really, I think, create a very vibrant community for all.
Well, we talked about just a tiny little bit about where this event is that you're putting on for children. It's a part of your celebration of Black History Month, right?
Yes.
And it's a story time. It's where kids learn how to, what that thing is called, a book, to open a book and read.
Right.
Oh, I can tell you, it was forced into my hands. My parents are Polish, and they came from the old country, and they spoke a different language. But when we got to America, I got an English book in my hand. It's great. At any rate, so you're this is for children who are 5 to 10 years old.
Yes.
And when's it going to happen?
It's going to happen this Saturday, February 11th at 10 a.m. at the Underground Bookstores in the 40 Acres complex at 35th and Broadway.
Yeah.
And it really is a special month because we're going to focus on Black history. But it was about a year ago that we decided that we needed to do more for the community and young people to encourage reading. Actually, Oak Park has been without a library for a long time, so the Underground Books has become sort of the literary hub of that community. And so we want to bring young people in because we do believe that readers are leaders, and we want to really grow leaders. So what we do is every second Saturday we have the young people come in, and we pick a book that's themed, that has people that look like me, look like you, look like the world that we live in, and they read the book as a group, and then they do an activity that's related to it. So this Saturday, it will be the ABCs of Black history, and so they will go through the alphabet and really talk about people or instances or opportunities that were for Black people in history, and including our current history, and then they will do an activity around that.
Oh, gosh, that's very good. And so there are a number of people, and it's free as well, right?
Absolutely free. And they get to take a book home with them. So, reading a book is not a one-time thing.
Yes.
It's continuous. And so what we want to do is continue to encourage people to read here, read there, read at home, and even their parents will get a book too, because if the parents are reading, the children are reading. If the children are reading, the parents are reading, and then the rest
all
is
kinds
sort
of
of history.
good things happen to a family. I totally agree with you. My mother forced me to read all kinds of things. Not really forced me, because once I got the idea that these Americans, they read. I jumped into it.
Right.
I love it.
Right. So we become the village, just like your mother and their parents, and we help to reinforce that, in particular now where there are all kinds of things that will take people's time. There's social media, there's internet, there's TV, there's all those things that will distract people. So we want to also make sure that reading is important in their routine, in their environment.
That's good. And Underground Books, by the way, is a very special bookstore because it has books you might not find by local people.
Absolutely.
Like people here in our town write books.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So it's very, very special. And did we bring some video there, some pictures?
Yes, we did.
Let's
We
go to
did.
the video. Boom.
Great. Talks about the activity. And so we're encouraging people to sign up, come out this Saturday at 10 a.m. There's going to be lots of fun. And yes, it's free. And it's every second Saturday. This one particular, Black History Month, every month is sort of a theme to encourage. Here is a good example of the activities that go on. I don't know whether you can hear them, but they are reading. So this is an activity.
Well, she's reading out loud, which
She's
is great.
reading out loud, and so from the book, she had an activity to say, what are your dreams and aspirations, or what are these different components? And she's written them, and then they have drawn them.
That's great. Okay.
Somebody's day
Zooming in on her.
You
Wow.
certainly answered the questions. Here they are having some fun, and here's more events. I will say that usually I remember when we did the scientists and the hidden figures, then they sort of created their own rocket ship, their own science thing, because, the hidden figures was all about Apollo and astronauts and scientists. And so it just gives them creativity and opportunities to not only see people that look like them, but to know that they can see it and they can be it if they want to. Here is story time. We have a young person reading. The illustration in these books are really good. You can see how there's zero and in this. And I will say that in many cases we see people that come that are shy, that don't want to read or don't want to work with the group. Well, they come back again, and then that's where they start to open up. They feel comfortable with themselves, with the books, and then good things happen. Here are some individuals. There's somebody that did a rocket. He was so proud of his little creation.
Sure.
And it ties directly to the book. So we want to make sure that we provide an opportunity for them to explore and to see themselves in the books and to learn, and then just long for more. So they get to go home with their little goodies, and they also get to go home with a book that they can read again. And then their parents get the book. Now, their parents don't get the little kids' book. They get a book that's also encouraging to them that will certainly support their reading. And just,
That starts a cycle of reading in a family and the growth of knowledge of how to put your eyes to the page.
And just like your mother knew how important it was,
Yes.
we want to make sure that it's not lost in this new fast-paced environment, that reading is still very important. And we want to make sure that they can connect with the books, because a lot of times the books in schools, the books that you find in other stores, they don't have people that look like me. And sometimes oftentimes we relate better if we can say, oh yeah, that person looks like me, and they did what? They are a doctor, they're an astronaut, they're U.S. Supreme Judge, all of that, or Vice President of the United States sort of looks like me. And so it just begins encouragement, because we believe if people are good with themselves, if they feel good with themselves, then they'll feel good among you. And they'll love you even more if they love themselves. Absolutely. And so that's what this whole thing is about. And I will say it's for all kids, because we have a diverse group that comes in, because I got books that look like people that I read and I enjoyed. And people want to also experience other cultures, other activities.
Absolutely.
And it really works well.
So you can get to going to your website, which is www.sthope or sthope.org.
Yes.
I think that's a quick way to get this, and otherwise, Underground Books is right in the center of an area of town at 35th Street.
It sure is, and it's been transformed, sort of like you heard about other communities. It's really a great place to gather, to come and gain more culture. This Black History Month, St. Hope is stepping it up a notch. We have collaborated with Celebration Arts, and on February 10th, we will start a play series that they will be putting on from Death Row, the Scottsboro Boys.
Oh, yes.
And that will be in the Guild Theater right next to Underground Books.
Yeah.
Just last week, we had, just last Saturday, we had a great speaker, writer, author, national writer, Dr. Ibram Kendi and Nick Stone, who wrote How to Be a Young Anti-Racist. And that was very, very popular. They are on the national tour circuit. And we will also be having the former national president of the NAACP, Ben Jealous, on February 20th. So what we want to do is provide something for everybody in particular that can really sort to celebrate the culture and the Black history, and not only what's in the past, but what's in the present now. Because like you said, some of those people that write those books that we have in Underground Book are local people, and they are making history as well.
So if I just can't remember anything from our conversation, if I go to ST.HOPE.
Right, no period, just
No period.
sthope.org.
Okay, and pow.
Yes.
Okay,
you
this
will
will
get-
open up. And it's a wonderful area of town, and there's a gardening center across the street that my wife and I like to go to.
There's absolutely the gardening. There's a coffee shop, Old Soul.
Oh, that's right, Old Soul.
There is a restaurant, Fixins, the best soul food in town, and with a wonderful atmosphere. There's La Benedito's right across the street, and the Oak Park Brewery, and Slim and Husky's Pizza. And so all of that is there for a great night, and I just have to admit, and there are others too, and especially the barbershop there, because as I mentioned, St. Hope is about lifting up communities, and so we support businesses, we employ a lot of people.
Thank you so much for coming. We just ran out of time.
Okay,
I'm
thank
getting
you.
a sign from over there.
All right, well, we appreciate you
We'll
having
see
us
you
today.
there.
Thank you. Look forward to it.
Okay, that's all the time we have. We'll see you next week on LiveWire, and go to these events.